It simulated a smaller plane losing hydraulics after landing and then slamming into the back of a fully loaded 737. The FAA requires U.S. airports to conduct full-scale emergency drills every 3 years.
The Money Watch tonight, stocks were down for the second session in a row today as investors pocketed more profits from the recent rally. The Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 31 points. The Nasdaq was down more than 4. Is the consumer willing to pick up the pace of spending now that the war is over? Well, not necessarily, if the latest report from the Commerce Department is any indication. The government says retail sales declined in April, much to the surprise of economists who were looking for a gain. The decline of 0.1% comes after a revised March increase of 2.3%. The drop was paced by falling gasoline sales, reflecting falling prices at the pump. Sales were down in most categories except for cars and trucks. A 22% wage cut proposal is not going over too well now with the union that represents Delta airline pilots. The plan is part of a company-wide cost-cutting campaign. While stopping short of rejecting that proposal, the union says employees have already made sacrifices. Well, is it possible to enjoy a hot meal at home without slaving over the stove or microwave and not ordering out? Well, new at 6. Ken Amaro will let us know in tonight's Does It Work segment.
And we first told you about how diet and exercise can help keep diabetes at bay. Coming up on Health Watch, more tips for needle-phobic diabetics.
When you're looking for a home, your real estate agent is a big part of your life. You need someone you can count on.
I wish you were closer to a school.
RE/MAX agents average more experience and more sales than other agents. Tell us what you want. RE/MAX. Outstanding agents. Outstanding results.
Nothing lasts forever, so hurry and get on Chrysler's Road to Value for your big chance to save on the best values in America. For a limited time, get 0% financing for 60 months on Town & Country, or choose a generous cash allowance up to $3,500 on select models. Plus, get our 770 powertrain limited warranty. Great products, great warranty, great deals. All add up to the best values in America. Hurry, offers end June 2nd. See your Chrysler dealer or visit Chrysler.com.
Last year, 137 shows were nominated for Emmy Awards. If all you have is ordinary TV, you missed half of them. Call 1-888-COMCAST. Get digital cable for only $34.99 a month. Get great shows like The Shield, Essence of Emerald, and The Osbournes. Plus, the easiest way to get high-definition programming. Call now and get 3 months of digital cable for $34.99 a month plus free installation. 1-888-COMCAST. It's not just more TV, it's better TV.
Escape reality in your own backyard. Our water features will create an oasis to enjoy year-round. Reeds and Rocks is your only stop in creating your personal oasis. We have it all. Fine fountains, beautiful statuaries, lush palms, rock and stone. Everything you need to build your own personal oasis is right here at Reeds and Rocks. Don't want to build it yourself? Reeds and Rocks can design and install your personal oasis. Reeds and Rocks. Enjoy shopping in a peaceful, relaxing atmosphere.
Me and my buddies, we'll hit up the Mickey D's and Burger King a lot just because they got the best deal for the cheapest burgers, the kind of little tiny patties and all bun. I'll buy a bunch of those burgers, throw the buns away, except for 2. Keep a top and a bottom. So then I take the burgers, I stack them together. Pickles, burger, 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 bun. That's how I do it. It's the only way I can get enough meat, man.
Thick burgers with 100% Angus beef. Because a guy shouldn't have to eat a pound of bread to get a half pound of meat.
If you see news happening, dial pound FCN on your AT&T wireless or star FCN on your Singular wireless to connect with your First Coast News.
One of Duval County's 7,000 teachers is getting special recognition tonight. Dale Timmons has been teaching on the First Coast for 14 years. But this year, she was named Duval County's Teacher of the Year. First Coast News anchor Mark Spain spent the day with her and her students over at Chetts Creek Elementary School.
He carried them on top of his head.
But she is a head above the rest, and that's not cheap talk.
Cabs for sale, 50 cents a cab.
At Chetts Creek Elementary, Dale Timmons makes reading more than words on a page. She brings stories to life.
He said, shaking his finger at them, "You give back my cats."
Timmons is a special ed teacher for kindergartners and first graders.
First, good job.
The job. She's been at it for nearly 3 decades, spending 14 years in Duval County alone.
Say it on 3. 1, 2, 3. Queen.
Timmons doesn't think of herself as royalty since becoming Teacher of the Year. She'd rather spread the credit around.
And I see it as my mission to get that word out, you know, to invite people here into my school, to let them see the collegial nature of this school and how really a great school works.
Timmons is always leaving her mark on whoever she touches.
She learns good stuff.
Others just can't seem to remember things when a TV crew shows up. It is a challenging job, but for Timmons, it doesn't get any better than this.
You have to be in this job because you were called here, because you know this is what you're supposed to do.
Her mission is always a work in progress.
To know that in some way I have made a difference because I was here.
Congratulations again to her, and tomorrow night on First Coast News at 5:30, we'll take you inside the classroom of Clay County's Teacher of the Year.
A push to protect the gentle giants in Florida rivers is riling up some boaters now. Alan Janae has the story for us. Alan?
Well, Phil, the state wants to lower the speed limits in parts of the St. Johns River. Now, tonight at 6 o'clock, we'll tell you more about it, where it'll affect things. It would mean expanding some no-wake zones, changing the rules in the water. At 6, we'll take a closer look at the areas affected as they try to protect manatees. Plus, Mayor-elect John Payton is taking his first steps towards unifying Jacksonville tonight. What came out of a meeting today with minorities for John Payton, the new mayor-elect. We'll see you at 6 o'clock, Phil and Donna.
All right.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you.
Getting excited?
Yeah, it's right around the corner. Tomorrow night. Huh?
It is. The eclipse is tomorrow night, so we're talking about tomorrow night. That is the eclipse. Let's show you what goes on. Basically, the eclipse technically in our part of the world will begin at 10:03, and the Earth will be lined up between the sun and the moon, and thus the total eclipse will occur at 11:14, and then will end at 1:17. And we're just hoping the skies are going to be clear. We're hoping a bunch of different things. We're also hoping for rain. What about our chances of rain? Well, not going to have any tonight. As far as the sea breeze, that's on the far west side now. That's what this is. But the chances of rain will increase for our area by tomorrow morning. And then those chances will be with us off and on through Sunday. So let's break it down for you. We're going to go to the national satellite picture. And as we do so, note the flow. A couple things going on here. First of all, we call this a subtropical jet stream. And this has both energy and plenty of moisture. And where conditions are ripe, we see showers and thunderstorms blossom. And notice how they really blossom over Texas, Oklahoma, and then work eastward into Mississippi and Alabama, and then weaken before they get here. However, that will more than likely change because of the northern branch of the jet stream. This bit of energy, pretty well organized. Notice the spin there. As that drops to the southeast, that should take this chunk of energy toward us. So that's where all the energy is. What about the precipitation? Well, over the waterways tomorrow, wind's not that strong except around thunderstorms where occasionally there could be a moderate shot as the thunderstorms roll on through. Here's another way to break it down. We do have thunderstorms to the south of us. Those will not be affecting us, but this area of shower and thunderstorm activity out to our west and northwest, at least in a scattered fashion, will roll through the area tomorrow morning, maybe again tomorrow afternoon and Friday, and then more activity farther out to the west. So basically, the triggering mechanism, the frontal system, will sit very near the first coast, and so we'll have different variations of shower and thunderstorm activity through Sunday. But you know what? We need it. We've been relatively dry for the last couple of weeks. Over the next 4 days, looks like the day with the least amount of thunderstorm activity would be Saturday, and then after tomorrow's event, the next wet event appears to be on Sunday as conditions will become warmer. So what do you think? Is it a Terra eclipse, a solar eclipse, or a lunar eclipse?
Would have to be
It's a
lunar.
lunar
There you
eclipse.
go.
But what is a Terra eclipse?
That would be when the eclipse is upon the Earth, but of course, that's Terra. But of course, since we're
okay.
typically on the Earth, we wouldn't see the...
How long does that lunar eclipse last tomorrow night?
The full eclipse goes from 11:14 to 1:17. That is in totality. That's what's so cool about this. We'll see a total eclipse of the moon for, what is that, nearly 2 hours.
Yeah.
Under the right conditions, the moon, even in the shadow, you still will be able to see it will have a deep red color.
Oh, wow.
I'll set the alarm clock.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you, Tim.
We'll be counting on that, Phil. Linda Baker is live with the First Coast News Traffic Center. She joins us now with a look at how rush hour is going. Hi, Linda.
Hi there, Donna. Northbound 295, a couple of collisions involving several vehicles is now in the clearing stages. That's between Highway 17 and Blanding. Look out for some possible low visibility smoke could come across the roadway. There's a burning building on Southside Boulevard just south of Beach. And a 4-car pileup northbound 95 after the Hendricks Avenue overpass has moved to the left emergency lane. But as you can see, traffic remains backed up across the Atlantic overpass all the way to Emerson. From the First Coast News Traffic Net, I'm Linda Baker.
Thank you, Linda.
Thanks,
well, if you're true or false here, if you're diabetic, you'll just know it because you won't feel well.
Well, here with the answer in tonight's Health Watch is First Coast News anchor Jeannie Blaylock. Jeannie?
Well, the answer is that is absolutely false. For example, I've met a local guy you would never dream has diabetes, and he never imagined it either.
Pretty big shock.
Dr. Lorraine DeJohnny at St. Vincent's sees it all the time.
The sad point is that probably 50%, 1 out of every 2 diabetics do not even know that they have it.
It's a disease that you could have, that anybody could have.
Were you scared?
Very.
Why? Yesterday we met Susan. She was shocked too and pretty freaked out she'd wind up on insulin. Watley hated the idea of needles every day too, so he took action.
I don't eat rice, potatoes, bread, pasta, tomato sauce, ketchup, tomatoes, carrots.
Is there too high in sugars? A very strict diet.
How much weight have you lost?
A whole bunch.
And it's kept him off pills, off shots, off insulin, because too much food makes diabetes worse.
The pancreas is overburdened, and so at the beginning it starts having to put out more insulin. Well, as this process continues, the pancreas eventually becomes tired, exhausted.
And you can wind up diabetic. So Watley says, be smart.
You need to be checked. You need to make sure of your abilities to remain on the planet, to stay alive.
He's right. The message here is with diet and exercise, you can control diabetes. You are not doomed. But first, you have to find out if you are diabetic. This Friday and Saturday is the largest diabetes expo in our area. It's at the Prime Osborne Convention Center. They will give you a free finger stick. It's so easy. It's a screening for diabetes, and it's really smart for people, all people, to do. And if you are diabetic, you can see the latest gadgets to help you. For instance, this is the Gluco watch. It goes like this, peels off, and it goes on your arm, of course, just like a watch. And it reads your sugar levels. If they're too high or too low, an alarm does go off, even if you're asleep.
But it's non-invasive. There are no needles. The patient wears this for up to 13 hours, and it provides readings every 10 minutes.
So again, this Friday and Saturday, stop by the Prime Osborne. It's free to get into the Diabetes Expo. And you know what? It's a good idea to have your kids checked, too, because we're seeing so much type 2 diabetes showing up in young children these days.
Sooner the better there.
Especially those who are having a weight problem, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Jeannie. Well, Vijay Singh has stirred up some controversy with his comments about Annika Sorenstam playing on the PGA Tour.
Hear what another Ponte Vedra golfer has to say on the matter up next in sports.
Doppler Academy is brought to you by your local Southern Ford dealers.
You can make your choices, and I'll make mine, and each day can be a miracle. With my head held high, I'm proud to be here. I'm proud of what we do, caring for my community. I'm proud of me and you, close to home and family. I'm proud.
Out here, we learn about power. And what we learn, we pour into the street-legal trucks you can buy during Dodge Truck Power Month. We've pumped it up with your choice of low financing or generous cash allowances on our high-powered best, like the Hemi-powered Ram, Motor Trend's 2003 Truck of the Year. Plus, get our fully transferable 770 powertrain limited warranty. Ford, Chevy, and Toyota don't match it. Hurry, this event powers down May 31st, only at your New South Dodge dealer.
Now with a late-breaking story, here's Suzanne.
Thanks, Tom. As the volcano continues to erupt, we take you live to correspondent John Ryland, who's at the scene. John, what's the situation?
Suzanne, as you can see behind me, the lava is covering an area of about 2 square miles. It's a bad situation, but I do have good news.
What's that, John?
I just saved a bunch of money on my car insurance by switching to Geico.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
One pizza, one pizzone.
What's a pizzone?
It's something really tasty now at Pizza Hut. Order any large pizza for the family, and for just $2.99 more, Mom and Dad get a pizzone of their own.
What's a pizzone?
Delicious toppings and cheese sealed inside a golden folded pizza crust in 3 yummy recipes. So while the rest of the family's in pizza paradise, you've got a pizzone big enough to share. Or maybe not. Now only $2.99 when you get any large pizza at the regular price. Only from Pizza Hut.
So this is a pizzone.
They're our parents and grandparents. America's seniors are our heroes and our inspiration. Congressman John Micah fights for them every day. Last year, Congressman Micah voted to add prescription drugs to Medicare. Now he's working to make sure Congress enacts this legislation, providing a prescription drug benefit for all seniors. Congressman John Micah has always put Florida seniors first. Thank Congressman Micah for fighting to add prescription drugs to Medicare, and tell him you'll appreciate his vote again.
Closed captioning brought to you by JEA. Cooling systems work best when you keep a constant setting. Be cool. Keep your thermostat at 78 degrees. Save energy and money. For more tips, visit JEA.com.
All right, Dan's here at Sports, and we were talking during the break. It's been quite a while since a woman played in the PGA Tour.
Yeah, Babe Didrikson-Zaharias, the greatest female athlete of all time, did it in the 40s. Yeah. Tiger's in Germany this week, so he's talking. We're going to hear from him at 6 o'clock about his thing. But, man, everybody's talking about this thing, isn't it? It's causing quite a stir on the PGA Tour. And Tiger Woods not even playing. Vijay Singh is against it. Others just aren't saying.
Please welcome Annika Sorenstam.
Vijay Singh says he's sorry if his comments about Annika Sorenstam were misinterpreted.
There's no attack on Annika at all. I mean, if, like I said, if I did, and she, I'd like to apologize to her. It was not put that way, and it just came out the wrong way.
Philip Hanavidran and PGA Tour golfer Rocco Mediate says this subject is one he's not going to touch.
Some of the comments that have been made from the players, that's their opinion. I don't have a problem with it at all. I mean, do I agree with it? Don't know. But it certainly is not going to change my way of going out there and playing and trying to play the best. And, it's going to be interesting, though. It's going to be neat to see what happens.
As for Sorenstam making her debut at the Colonial, Rocco says get ready for the media circus.
It'll be a frenzy, a media frenzy. I think it'll be a good atmosphere. I think it's going to be interesting to see how she does. I definitely don't wish her a bad play. I don't wish it on anybody. I want to, it's going to be neat to see what she can do from the back tees at a 7,000-yard golf course. And she wants to test it. And, hey, she got invited. She didn't say invite me. They said come on and play.
She didn't take somebody else's spot.
No, it's an invitational. They can do whatever they want there. And, she didn't say I'm playing. They asked her to play, and she said yes.
Dan Hicken, First Coast Sports.
Hope she does well. Hopefully she'll make the cut, too.
Yeah.
Well, a new era is bringing some new changes to Alltel Stadium. You probably noticed lots of construction work going on at the stadium.
Now, this is a look from the inside. And as we speak, the team is hosting a hard hat party to show off some of those improvements. Fans are getting a sneak peek of the terrace suites. They're located in the south end zone. And I guess they hold about 700 people there. Plus, there's a 10,000 square foot outdoor seating area and a large indoor dining area. The cost for a seat in the section for the season about $3,000. For ticket information, you can call the Jaguars at 633-2000.
And we are guaranteed everything will be done before the first Jaguars game.
That's going to be quite the place to watch.
Plush facility, yeah.
Well, that's going to do it for us. Thanks for watching First Coast News at 5:30.
The very latest from Mayor-elect John Payton's plans for our city. Next with Jeannie and Alan. Don't go away. First Coast News at 6 starts now.
This is First Coast News at 6.
It's day one of John Payton's new campaign. After a decisive victory in the mayor's race, he's hit the streets, reaching out to reunite the city.
If we're going to move forward, we've got to do it together. We can't do it alone.
The Payton victory, part of a tidal wave of Republican support. Are the Democrats dead in the water?
There's unity there, but just not enough of it.
Good evening, I'm Jeannie Blaylock.
And I'm Alan Janae. Thanks for joining us. Well, these are the biggest political changes in Jacksonville in at least 8 years. A bitter and sometimes ugly mayor's race ended with a decisive John Payton victory. Now, we begin tonight with the first order of business for the mayor-elect, bridging the racial divide that marked the race.
As we talk about moving forward, these next few days and weeks will be committed to reaching out to all the folks in this community.
Roger Weeder spent the day with John Payton today, and Roger, he may not take office until July, but he has to start setting a tone here. He did it today in the inner city and on the north side as well, both areas that overwhelmingly support Annette Glover.
You're absolutely right, Alan. The mayor-elect met with nearly 80 people from all walks of life in the African-American community. The meeting happened at Edward Waters College, and as I mentioned, for about an hour, they talked. And what they talked about? Unity and jobs.
I want to hear him. I don't know the man, but I want to hear him.
John Wiggins came to listen. He wasn't alone. Mayor-elect John Payton came calling on Edward Waters College. He came to talk about jobs and unity.
You know, the message is job growth, and if we can build our economy and create the jobs we need here, we can do wonders for everyone in this community, and that's the common link, and I think that's the common bond.
Payton made an impression in a community that went the other way on Election Day. Did he make some friends today?
Oh, no doubt about it. This is the first step in the healing process, and he did good. I mean, he's right in the heart of the African-American community, and he did real good.
John Payton says this is the first of many meetings he will hold on the north side with the African-American community to heal the wounds of the election. But today, as he told me, it was a very positive first step in pulling the city back together. Back to you.
All right, Roger, thanks. Payton's next order of business is putting together his transition team. We'll have more information on that tomorrow. And First Coast News has now learned you can expect that team to be named by Monday.
Meantime, Jacksonville's Democratic Party is trying to figure out what happened. Republicans swept the elections yesterday, taking all but one position on the ballot. Council District 10, which had only Democrats on the ballot in the first place. Republicans now run the mayor's office, the sheriff's office, and hold 13 council seats. There are 6 Democratic council members. First Coast News reporter Jacqueline Bernard joins us live now from City Hall. And Jackie, the Democrats have some work to do.
That is true, with the new Republican mayor coming to City Hall and a slew of Republican council members, city council members as well. The Democratic Party confirms changes need and will be made. The day after his loss, Ronnie Higginbotham has one lasting memory from his run for city council.
Getting out and meeting people, shaking hands.
That's a good memory, shadowed by a bad one.
The Democrats, they just didn't get up and get out.
60% of Duval County's voters are registered Democrats, and yet voters swept the polls with Republicans in election 2003. Higginbotham and his fellow Democrats are now picking up the pieces and realizing one thing.
What really happened, the Democrats just didn't show up. That was it. The whole thing in a nutshell, just didn't show up.
Local Democratic Party Chairman Clyde Collins released this statement to First Coast News. Quote, "The Democratic Party has work to do. We were outspent by Republicans in the last election, and money helps bring in success. But money, he says, is not the sole problem."
What the Democrats need to do is get together and, get one mind, one accord, and get organized.
If not, future trips to the polls.
The future to me is Blake.
The chairman of the Democratic Party, the local Democratic Party, says his team is reviewing the election results right now, and it is just too early to tell as for what changes need to be made. We're live downtown. Jacqueline Bedard, First Coast News.
Thanks, Jackie. Now, if you missed any of the results from the election, they're available at firstcoastelections.com. The Florida Highway Patrol says a police officer in Jacksonville was speeding when he crashed near the Main Street Bridge last night. The FHP says Detective James Gregory was driving 55 in a 30-mile-an-hour zone. That was last month. He crashed near a construction site. 2 signs showed different lane closures. Detective Gregory may be ticketed.
Well, if you feel the need for speed on First Coast waterways, listen up. There are some new rules being considered for the St. Johns River, and they would set a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit from Ready Point here up to the north to the Main Street Bridge down here, and a no-wake zone from the Main Street Bridge to the Fuller Warren Bridge. Now, south of the Fuller Warren, including Doctors Lake, there are existing no-wake zones, of course, would extend, though, twice the distance in from shore. First Coast News reporter Kyle Meenan breaks it down for us.
Monty Murphy's had a love affair with Doctors Lake since the early 1970s. Enjoying the same freedom on the open water thousands of others enjoy every day. Hitting the throttle and feeling the thrill of acceleration. The wind in your face as you glide over the water. But the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Department is proposing to stop boaters dead in the water, or at least make them putter along.
Fish and Wildlife has a tendency to listen to the Save the Manatee Club more than they listen to the people.
Murphy and hundreds of others are hot over the proposal to nearly double Doctors Lake's no-wake zone on behalf of manatees. Right now, I'm 500 feet offshore. This is the existing regulation as they are in effect today. But if the new ones go into effect, I will have to be 900 feet offshore.
So it's almost doubling of the existing rules, and it is clearly a taking of more and more of our rights.
We maintain that the manatees are not in that no-wake zone, 900 feet. They're much, much closer to shore.
But the Save the Manatee Club disagrees, claiming those grasses do grow as much as 900 feet from shore. They say boaters won't be inconvenienced.
It's a small distance for them. It's a huge measure of safety for the manatees that use the lake, and they are being injured, even if they're not being killed.
Monty Murphy's thoughts on the Save the Manatee Club?
What would they like to see? They want all boats off the water. It's just that simple. I don't care what they say. Their goal ultimately is to have every boat in the state of Florida on land.
Kyle Meenan reporting right there. Now, that passion Kyle mentioned came out last night at a public hearing about the manatee zones. It happened at Fort Myers. More than 2,000 people showed up, and most of them said the new rules would infringe on their boating rights. Several times that discussion ended in shouting matches. Now, if you want to go to the local public hearing on the manatee issue, it's tomorrow night at the University of North Florida's University Center. It's going on from 6:30 until 9 p.m.
St. Augustine city commissioners have voted to pay themselves more money. Now they'll make $12,000 a year. The mayor would make $20,000. In Jacksonville, council members make nearly $40,000 a year. They meet more often. People in St. Augustine will get a chance to voice their opinion over this pay increase in the next meeting, June 9th. Jacksonville's first annual film festival is spotlighting dozens of independent films.
Well, this is a 4-day event. It'll include full-length feature films, documentaries, and historical pieces, some that haven't been seen now in decades. First Coast News anchor Daryl Tardy is live downtown tonight, comfortably seated, and you'll have a look here at one film you only see at the festival or through clips right now here on First Coast News, right? Some neat stuff here, Daryl.
That's right, Jeannie and Alan. You know, it's kind of lonely being the only patron in the theater right now, but festival organizers are promising that the rows of seats here in the Ritz Theater, well, it's going to be a sold-out crowd tomorrow night. Everyone here to see a rare screening of a film that hasn't been seen now in 7 decades. A silent film that put Jacksonville on the map in more ways than one.
It's the most rewarding thing that I've ever done. And
Nathaniel McLean loves to fly.
when we leave the boundaries of the earth and get up into the heights of the heaven, we're able to look at things at a different perspective.
A view this Vietnam veteran was almost denied the opportunity to see.
I operated as the chief pilot of a unit at one time when I was denied an opportunity to enter into by reason of race or color.
A theme explored in the early silent film, The Flying Ace.
It represents a product that was not typical.
A piece of history that
it really is not let out of, seldom let out of the Library of Congress.
Until now. This footage of the 1926 silent film hasn't been seen in more than 7 decades. It was shot right here in Jacksonville by filmmaker Richard Norman at his Arlington studio. The movie, an important contribution to the history of film.
African Americans had such a struggle to become pilots, and this was just typical of Richard Norman and what he would do. He would show African Americans in not the stereotypical way, but as heroes and romance figures and entrepreneurs.
And pilots like Nathaniel McLean.
When I look back, I wouldn't trade or change my career path to have accomplished it in any other manner.
Now, Jeannie and Alan, there are only 2 copies of The Flying Ace only in existence of the film. The one being shown here tomorrow night was preserved and restored by the Library of Congress. And I have to show you really quick, up here and the top of the theater where the exit sign is, they had to actually remove the panel because that's where a projector is going to be brought in tomorrow night to actually show this film. There are very few projectors left in existence that can show this film tomorrow night. And Richard Norman's, well, he's now no longer with us, but his surviving son, who's now in his 70s, he's going to be here tomorrow night at the Ritz Theater to see this rare screening of his father's film. Reporting live downtown tonight, Daryl Tardy, First Coast News.
And that is a proud moment. Daryl, thanks very much. Well, that festival starts tomorrow night at 8 o'clock with The Flying Ace at the Ritz Theater. Films are showing in 4 theaters, and there are also several seminars. You can get a complete schedule on firstcoastnews.com. Just click on the links button. Well, there's a big change coming to the downtown skyline.
We'll show you the history that's sailing up the St. John's.
And changes coming as far as precipitation. Raincast showing you your chances of receiving some rain tomorrow. And that's just the beginning. We'll check it out.
And don't want to cook tonight? Well, these meals are supposed to be ready right out of the package. A Kenamaro taste test next.
In the Tournament of Champions, Jeopardy is a way of life.
I have one coworker who absolutely insists on calling me nothing but Mr. Jeopardy.
Find out who will make it to the finals on the next Jeopardy.
Weeknights at 7:30 on NBC 12.
It was supposed to chase away problems.
It makes you feel almost godlike.
But instead, the real problems began.
I flipped out so bad that they took me and they tied me up to a chair.
The other side of ecstasy. First Coast News tomorrow at 6.
0% interest, 0 over invoice, 0 down, 0 hassle. It's the Zero Zone at Ernie Palmer Toyota, Cassett Avenue. Now there's 0 standing between you and your new car. And Ernie Palmer is turning up the heat with our summer sales event. New Toyotas from $10,990, Camrys and Corollas 5% less than advertised elsewhere. SUVs and trucks at net plus rebates to $2,500. 0%, 0 over invoice, 0 down, 0 hassle. Nothing beats it. Hurry to the Zero Zone. Ernie Palmer Toyota, Cassett Avenue.
Just got home.
Jim Walter Homes has been building homes for over 50 years. But until that stack of lumber showed up at your lot, you never knew just how much home you were getting. Solid materials, good old American ingenuity, and the resources to finance your dream. It all adds up to better value and the best built home for your money. Welcome to Jim Walter Homes.
You just got home.
What's your shortest route to the lowest price on a new Chevrolet? It's straight ahead to Gordon Chevrolet. Straight ahead pricing means no games, no gimmicks, and no hassles. Just upfront prices on America's favorite cars and trucks. GM offers $3,000 rebates or 0% for 60 months on all models. But this week, Gordon doubles the deal. Get $3,000 rebates and 0% financing on select models. Only Gordon doubles the deal. Big rebates and 0% financing. Your best Chevy deal is straight ahead. Get it all at Gordon. Gordon Chevrolet.
Wow, great news about Dish Network Satellite TV. Now you can get 3 months free of our most popular value pack. For only $49.99 a month, you get 132 top digital channels like Discovery Channel, History Channel, ESPN, Lifetime, and the Weather Channel, including 13 channels of HBO and Cinemax. Order today and get 3 free months. And ask about our free dish offer with free installation. Now that's entertainment. 3 free months, a free system, and free installation. Call 1-800-WOW-DISH or visit a local participating retailer.
First in digital, first in high definition. You're watching NBC 12. This is your First Coast News at 6. With Jeannie Blaylock, Alan Janae. On your side's Ken Amaro, Dan Hicken Sports, and Tim Deegan with your dual Doppler weather.
JTB has been like this for at least 3 hours already.
Yuck.
Yuck.
Don't want to be there. Well, the food our troops eat is a little bit better than in the years past when there are all sorts of horrible nicknames for pre-prepared meals, some of which I cannot repeat on the air.
They're called MREs, Meals Ready to Eat. Well, now you can get a more homey version of MREs for your own kitchen. On your side's Ken Amaro's live downtown. These are not military meals.
Jeannie, they're not. In fact, this one is home-style chicken and noodles in gravy. The manufacturer wants you to know that it's not Army food. Also, you don't need a microwave to heat it up. All you need are 2 ounces of salt water on your tray like this. You take your meal, you fold it on the tray, you put it in the box, and the company claims that it will heat the meal all by itself, but does it work? This is the Clara White Mission Culinary School. It is no longer a soup kitchen.
We are trying to make this
for our students, to give them the experience to get jobs, we are turning this into a 2-story restaurant.
Here it takes hours to prepare a hot meal.
3 to 4 hours a day.
Chef Ray Walsh oversees what goes on in his kitchen and decided to help us test the heater meal.
They have their place. I don't think that they have their place in everybody's homes.
We started with the instructions, which were easy as 1, 2, 3.
Sure, you don't have to be a chef to do this. Anybody can do it. Everybody is a chef.
We added the water to the tray, placed the meal and tray back in the box, and watched the clock.
What are we eating today?
Barbecue beef with diced potatoes. In a matter of minutes, it was heating itself.
It's acting as an oven, as a steamer.
The steam kept pouring out of the sides, and the box kept getting hotter.
Wow, it's feel that? That's hot.
We let it steam for a few minutes, then tried it. It was warm.
Where is the beef? I got it here. Oh. Tastes very good.
Yeah.
It's not a gourmet meal, but if I were hungry, I wouldn't refuse it.
Uh-oh, there it goes. It's cooking. It's bubbling now. 60 seconds. That's where it starts. It gets hot up to 14 minutes, so it does indeed heat itself. So the question is, who's going to use this stuff? Well, the company says campers, boaters, college students, or just about anyone who's plain old hungry. And we'll let it cook for about 5 minutes to see how hot it gets. But as you can see, the heater meal does indeed heat itself.
Does that cost, Kenny?
$3.99.
So kind of in line with the other frozen dinners, huh?
Yeah.
Sort of, and it'd probably come in handy during a storm.
Yeah.
You know, when you don't have
And it's just some
Power
kind
goes
of chemical reaction, right?
Yeah.
Right, Ken? Okay.
Yeah, look at that stuff going.
With
That's
the salt
pretty
water.
wild, isn't it?
Fascinating. All right, Ken, thanks very much. If you think local inmates have it easy, wait until you see what they're doing to save you money. First Coast News anchor Donna Hicken joins us now to explain. Donna?
Well, Alan, they are being put to work, and it will help you right in the wallet. We'll show you what they're doing tonight on First Coast News at 11. Plus, the prescription drugs you're paying for may not be actually what you're getting. We'll explain at 11 o'clock.
All right, thanks very much. Well, at least it's not so steamy outside. It's
Indeed not. A very nice breeze. Speaking of, are we going to go to downtown?
Yeah,
Take a look at
the tall ships.
Oh, there they are.
Festival
Yeah.
this weekend.
And in fact, the sea breeze has made it downtown. Beautiful ships, and the public part of that show is going to be Friday through Sunday. Fireworks,
Lots
I
of
believe.
history.
Yeah, these are
Saturday
just the
night.
first 2 ships that have come in for the Tall Ships Festival. Beautiful ships, and a whole bunch more coming on Friday.
And we will have your forecast for the ship festival in just a bit. But what about the other side of the coin? That is, we could use some rain. Let's take a look at our chances. Our chances over the next couple of hours, nil. Over the next couple of days, pretty good. Here's why. Notice we do see some thunderstorms off to the south of us and not too far from Palatka. I do not expect this activity to build any farther north. However, we do continue to see scattered thunderstorms over the Florida Panhandle and Alabama, and this system should begin to gradually head our way. More on tomorrow's weather in a bit, but what about this evening's? That's coming closer to home, and as mentioned, pretty darn nice out there, especially with the breeze downtown. We saw temperatures drop about 5 degrees when that sea breeze had come on in. Let's expand the picture, and we show you where the thunderstorms should be tomorrow. Pretty active boundary. We call it a front tomorrow with a cluster of strong, possibly severe thunderstorms over Texas and Louisiana. Another strong cluster by this time tomorrow evening over the Carolinas, and in between a weaker cluster. So we'll have scattered activity, not a widespread rain event, but at least compared to how dry it's been, changes on the way. In fact, we could even see thunderstorms late tonight over Georgia diminish as they come our way, but still produce a few rumbles and some showers for us in the morning. But a better chance of thunderstorms as we go during the afternoon. Overall should affect about 40% of us. With southwest winds, temperatures will heat up. And again, with those warmer morning lows, as we've mentioned before, that's an indication that the muggier weather will return. Here's another way to look at it. We could have a couple rounds of activity. First, early in the morning with weakening showers and thunderstorms, and another band developing later in the afternoon, especially as we heat up. Basically, keep your eyes to the west and the northwest. That's where the activity should roll in from. Waterways, no big problem tomorrow except around the thunderstorms. Briefly, we could see conditions roughen up, a low tide at 2:22 in the afternoon, whereas downtown, low tide 4:10 in the afternoon. Okay, I'll get out of the way because here they come. The tall ships sailing on into town. Yes, there will be some scattered showers and thunderstorms. On the other hand, it will be warm, so you can wear your Bermuda shorts and you'll be just styling. There's your 5-day outlook. Again, we do need the rain, so we have a lot of outdoor plans. I think this unsettled weather will help us out.
Sounds good. Thank you very much, Tim. First Coast News at 7 starts right at World News Tonight on ABC 25, and Deanna Finney has a preview.
Well, Jeannie, a rare film of Marilyn Monroe has been discovered, coming up tonight at 7 on ABC 25. The film was lost for almost half a century. Find out where it was discovered and what will happen to it now. Plus, the world's first inflatable church just held its first worship service. Well, these stories and much more tonight at 7 on ABC 25.
U.S. Spurrier's first star quarterback at the University of Florida.
Well, coming up next in sports tonight, Dan tells us how a job in Washington, D.C. led to a split of Gator alums.
I'm Tom Brokaw. Our taxpayer dollars being wasted right now in the shadow of the dome. How construction overruns for the Capitol Visitor Center have cost taxpayers $24 million. The Fleecing of America, a special report tonight on NBC Nightly News.
At Lighthouse Toyota of St. Augustine, get outlet pricing on Toyotas, plus free tires for life, a free 400,000-mile engine guarantee, and free loaner cars for service. The switch is on because Toyotas cost less in St. Augustine.
One of the early warning signs of diabetes is excessive thirst. Get the information you need about diabetes at ebaptisthealth.com.
One pizza, one pizzone.
What's a pizzone? It's something really tasty now at Pizza Hut. Order any large pizza for the family, and for just $2.99 more, Mom and Dad get a pizzone of their own. What's a pizzone? Delicious toppings and cheese sealed inside a golden folded pizza crust in 3 yummy recipes. So while the rest of the family's in pizza paradise, you've got a pizzone big enough to share. Or maybe not. Now, only $2.99 when you get any large pizza at the regular price. Only from Pizza Hut.
So this is a pizzone.
Have you noticed that the fancier the shopping bag, the more you have to spend? Well, I sure have. That's why I shop at Tuesday Morning. No fancy shopping bags there. Just closeout savings of 50 to 80% off retail on beautiful home accessories and gifts. It's where I find special treasures like this one. So the next time you shop, skip the fancy bags. Go straight to Tuesday Morning, where you're sure to find a treasure every time you shop.
Since 1905, Claude Nolan Cadillac has been famous for serving Jacksonville's luxury car needs. Some things never change. Come in now and see our exciting lineup of what the automotive world is calling the finest Cadillacs ever made. CTS, Escalade, EXT, and ESV, DeVille, and Seville. Yes, we've got the vehicles you want at the price you want to pay. That's why Claude Nolan sells more Cadillacs than anyone else. Claude Nolan Cadillac. Come begin a lasting relationship with Florida's first family of Cadillac.
Wheel of Fortune, weeknights at 7 on NBC 12.
Brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District. Florida's water, it's worth saving.
I'm afraid I have some terrible stories. Your grandfather, he's passed on. It's all right, dear.
Detect hidden leaks before they become a problem. Learn how at floridaswater.com. Florida's water. It's worth saving.
If you see news happening, dial star FCN on your Singular Wireless or pound FCN on your AT&T Wireless to connect with your First Coast News.
All right, Dan's here. More wow on the Anacosura stem.
Everybody wants to talk. Everybody's being asked about it, and I guess everybody has their opinion. Those who have seen Anacosura stem up close and personal are coming to her defense. Jacksonville's own David Duval and Tiger Woods played a made-for-TV event with Sword Stam and Kari Webb, you'll remember. Duval says he doesn't know what the big deal is, adding he wishes right now he could hit it that straight. Tiger weighed in today from Germany, where he's playing on the European Tour.
It's unfortunate VJ said that. It's very unfortunate, but I left a message for Annika and just told her just go out there and play.
Sorenstam will test her game at the PGA Tour's Colonial Invitational next week. What seemed a marriage made in Gator heaven ended with a relationship on the rocks. Shane Matthews' stint as Steve Spurrier's NFL quarterback not nearly as smooth as his days as a Gator.
I'll be quite honest with you know, I was with the people in Washington, the players. They didn't understand why I was being benched. You know, it wasn't fun, believe me.
You can catch more of my conversation with Shane Matthews in our Glory Days report. That's Friday at 6 o'clock. I guess when you spend all morning doing nothing but passing, you're going to have your share of drop balls. The Jaguars sure have, with one more morning workout scheduled tomorrow. Running back Fred Taylor getting used to his role in the West Coast offense, where he will be used more as a pass catcher out of the backfield. He says it'll be tough for the other guys to defend.
various formations. You get a lot of different mismatches, especially if the backs are catching the ball well.
Basketball losing a legend today. Hall of Famer Dave DeBusschere has died at the age of 62. His career included the title of player-coach with the Pistons at the age of 24, 2 NBA titles with the Knicks, and a stint as ABA commissioner in 1997. He was picked as one of the 50 greatest players in NBA history. Just how close did the Lakers come to a 25-point second-half comeback last night? That close. Robert Horry's three-pointer. We'll give you one more look at it. In. I said in. And out. They would have won the game with that. LA loses by 2, falls behind 3-2 in their series with the San Antonio Spurs. The Braves have won 11 straight division titles with 5 World Series trips included and haven't played as good as they are right now in 50 years. Atlanta beat the Dodgers 3-1 last night. They've won 23 of their last 27 games, the best 27-game stretch since they played in
Wow,
Milwaukee.
what a roll, huh?
Yeah.
Thanks,
All right.
Dan.
All right.
Here's what's on TV tonight, and we'll be right back.
Why would you go to a casual dining restaurant and spend $32 for a quality meal when you could go to KFC and get the same thing for half the price?
Head over to KFC for the family feast meal. Now get 10 pieces of original recipe or extra crispy chicken, 3 large sides, 6 biscuits, and a free Pillsbury chocolate cake, all for only $15.99.
So you really can have your cake and eat it too.
They have cake! Cake!
This is what happens when you offer free cake.
Free cake!
Come in for the family feast and get free cake.
Your home, your ideas, and the freedom to express them. At Lowe's, we make it easy. Only Lowe's has a full line of warehouse or choice deck. A material so revolutionary, you won't have to paint it, stain it, or treat it ever. And ever is a very long time. And at Lowe's, we have low prices every day, guaranteed. That's our promise. Lowe's, improving home improvement.
Show your power of pride. Sign a thank you card for our troops at any Lowe's store.
No, this is not our newest Cadillac. We're building a new state-of-the-art showroom for the people that count most, our customers.
The new Nimnik Cadillac facility will be an elegant showplace for the world's finest cars. While it's under construction, save thousands on new and pre-owned Cadillacs. And for a limited time, 0% financing for up to 60 months on any new vehicle. You always do better at Nimnik. Better selection, better service, better price. Landing Boulevard just north of I-295.
Let's see if these Lipton drinkers notice the taste of Louisiane, the tea specially blended for iced tea.
Hey! That's the best iced tea I've ever had.
There it is. People can't help but see that Louisiane is the right tea for iced tea.
Last year, 137 shows were nominated for Emmy Awards. If all you have is ordinary TV, you missed half of them. Call 1-888-COMCAST. Get digital cable for only $34.99 a month. Get great shows like The Shield, Essence of Emerald, and The Osbournes. Plus, the easiest way to get high-definition programming. Call now and get 3 months of digital cable for $34.99 a month plus free installation. 1-888-COMCAST. It's not just more TV, it's better TV.
When I'm at Shoney's, it reminds me of that great food my mama used to make for breakfast.
Male or female, can you tell?